A very good afternoon to everyone, and thank you for taking the time to join us for the SGBC virtual info session on the CapitaLand Sustainability X Challenge 2023. My name is Joel from the Singapore Green Building Council, and it is my pleasure to kick off this session today. Before we go into the details of this session, I'd like to read off an administrative announcement that there are no CPD points, no continuing professional development points for this session because it is an information session. As a gold partner of CapitaLand Sustainability X Challenge 2023, SGBC is pleased to put together this info session for our network to learn more about this annual sustainability event. CapitaLand Group is partnering with its tenants for the first time for this edition of the CapitaLand Sustainability X Challenge, extending its sustainability efforts to its ecosystem partners as it seeks to reduce its Scope 3 carbon emissions. Selected CSXC innovations will have the opportunity to be piloted at the premises of CapitaLand's tenant partners, in addition to the group's global network of properties available for startups to test bid their solutions. Funding for this year's chosen CSXC pilots has also been upsized to over $1 million to accelerate CapitaLand's innovation drive in its journey towards net zero carbon emissions by 2050. With the launch of CapitaLand Sustainability X Challenge, CapitaLand provides an opportunity for innovators to work hand in hand to make buildings more climate resilient and resource efficient. In just a while, we will hear more details of the challenge, its key mechanics, as well as the challenge statements. Without further ado, it is my pleasure to turn the time over to Mr. Vinrama Srivastava, Chief Sustainability Officer of CapitaLand Investment, to deliver the welcome address. He is responsible for elevating the CapitaLand Group's sustainability strategy and policies, integrating them into its business and operations to drive strategic environmental, social, and governance efforts and deliver long-term economic value to stakeholders. Over to you, Vinrama. I see you have your webcam turned on. You may unmute your audio and share your screen before proceeding.
Excellent, great. I hope I'm visible on screen.
Yes, we can see you.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much for the kind introduction. Good afternoon, everyone, or good morning, good evening, depending on where you're dialing in from. My name is Vinamra. I head sustainability at CapitaLand. What I wanted to do to kick off this session, and before I pass it to my colleagues to go into more details, is just give a brief background, first about CapitaLand as a group, and then about the challenge itself in terms of the thinking behind setting this up and the motivations and the journey we have crossed through over the last 2 years. CapitaLand is one of the largest players in APAC. People who are based here would be very familiar. And the reason why I think this message is important is to showcase the diversity that we have as a business, both geographically as well as in terms of the product lines and the asset classes that we have. So we have, as of last year, more than $130 billion under assets under management. And we have various pools of capital, public REITs, private funds, as well as a balance sheet money that we use to own and operate all of these assets. And we've got more than 10,000 people spread across the countries running this business for us. So this slide shows the breakdown of the different asset classes that we are in and the different countries that we are present. And I think this slide is important from the context of CSXC because it just showcases the complexity that we have as a portfolio globally when it comes to implementing technology for sustainability. Each asset class has its own characteristics. They have very different energy efficiency on a per square meter basis. They have very different operating challenges. And when you combine that complexity with the countries in which they operate, then that adds further nuances. So a data center in India may have a very different sustainability challenge than a mall in Singapore or a warehouse in the UK. So this can be a challenge or this can be a strength. And I think we try to look at it as a strength, because what it does is it allows us to pilot solutions across the board in different conditions, and something that may not work in X could work in Y. And therefore, it places us in a very unique position because of the scale to really continue to experiment different technologies on what makes sense. And that is important in the context of where CSXC challenges. How did CSXC, how did it come about? It really came about when we were setting up our sustainability master plan, and it had 3 pillars, as you can see on the slide. And the one that was more relevant for CSXC was the one that you see on the left, which is the targets that we set for ourselves, backtracking from a net zero for 2050, our targets in terms of carbon emission intensity, energy intensity, water intensity, how much renewable we want to source in our portfolio, what sort of recycling we should have, so on and so forth. So our job really only started when we set up the plan and the targets. But the real challenge after that was, how do we operationalize this? And we were very quick to realize that innovation and technology is the fundamental driver for us to meet these environment targets. And it is with that thought process that CSXC as a platform was born. Put simply, it allows us to source technologies from all over the world across these challenge areas that we have. And these are challenge areas not specific only to Kaplan. I think they reflect the needs of the real estate industry at large. It allows us to then mentor the solutions, select the ones that we have high confidence in, and then give them our entire sandbox of global portfolio to pilot these in real life conditions, take them out of their testing scenarios and really put them out in a real building and see how it does. And the ones that do succeed then get an opportunity to scale up across our global portfolio. And we ensure that we fund all the pilots. So we thought this was a very practical win-win solution, because for the innovators, it gives them an opportunity to bring the solutions alive in the real world environment. And for CapitaLand, it allows us to continue to experiment and test what works and then scale up accordingly. And it is with that intent that we're very pleased to launch the 3rd version of this challenge for 2023. And there are a few new things that we have done in this challenge, and later my colleague Ted will go into further details. But one of the key things that we did was, given that we are at a stage where we have an established platform, it's a reputed brand, it is seen as a credible source of pipeline of technologies, we wanted to go ahead and partner with industry stakeholders to expand the outreach and the impact that this challenge can create. And therefore, 2 key categories of partners that we're getting on board this year is one with the tenants, because tenants' consumptions are our scope 3. So there's a win-win for both. So we are very happy to announce that we've got DBS as a first tenant who have partnered and signed up with us, so that the technologies that can come through can be piloted at DBS's premises in our portfolio. And we're very thankful for their support to this cause. And we've also partnered with the BCA and Enterprise Singapore, who really represent the efforts that the Singapore ecosystem is making. And it's a fantastic example of public-private partnership to drive the sustainability ambitions of Singapore as a nation. And we are very humbled to play that role in partnership with both BCA and Enterprise Singapore. Multiple solutions have gone through the last 2 challenges that we have. We have today, as of now, 20 pilots that are in different stages of testing and assessment. Some have been completed, and we are doing this in more than 24 sites across our portfolio. And as you can see, there are some where we have achieved excellent results, and they are concluded, and now we are scaling them back across platforms. And there are some that are under different stages of testing. These are the ones from our last challenge. And we are very happy to see that the solutions that succeed not only expand in our portfolio, but we don't retain any IP on it. This is really open source to help the entire industry. So not only do they scale up with us, but they actually go ahead and work across the entire industry, which I think benefits the entire ecosystem altogether. So I think, end of the day, this is a platform which has matured very rapidly, and its reach has really expanded globally, as well as it has gone deeper in the kind of solutions that it is targeting. So we've got some very innovative and creative solutions from the last 2 cycles. And I'm really hoping that this cycle can further give us some very interesting, insightful solutions that really work on the ground. And if you've got one, then this is the right platform for you to come on board, partner with us, and we will ensure that we make this a success for you. With that, I once again thank all of you for your time. And I hope the next half an hour to 40 minutes will be insightful for you, and be very happy to take any questions around the platform, but also around CapitaLand sustainability journey as we go forward. And with that, I hand over the time to my colleague, where we would want to start with a very short video and then engage in the discussions. Thank you very much.
Welcome to CapitaLand Sustainability X Challenge 2022 Demo Day.
At CapitaLand, our sustainability journey started more than 20 years ago. In fact, we place sustainability at the core of everything we do. We are determined to address sustainability challenges by building an innovative culture and entrepreneurial spirit within our company and fostering collaborations with like-minded partners. As we work towards achieving our net zero commitment and the ambitious targets in our 2030 Sustainability Master Plan, the push for innovation has never been greater.
This challenge offers the opportunity for outstanding proposals to be piloted at selected CapitaLand properties all around the world. Now, clearly, the way to go net zero must rely on innovation. It has to be a key in our net zero pursuit as we continue to push boundaries of energy efficiency through development, through test bedding, and deployment of greener technologies and solutions for buildings.
It's an excellent opportunity for startups to be able to pilot and test out their products and solutions with a company like CapitaLand, which has buildings in multiple countries all around the world. It really gives you an opportunity to get a head start and see if you can be successful here. It really will help you, scale your businesses.
They are actually really seriously looking at all the companies, not just the finalists, but all deserved companies, and really try to become their customer, which is what startups want.
This is a really nice segue to our plenary session for today, and I'm very excited to hear what our panel speakers will have to say.
And as urbanization is increasing its pace, new construction is also adding to building stock and is expected to double by the year 2060, and that's going to increase the carbon emissions level as well. So to reach net zero, the built environment actually will have to decarbonize 3 times faster over the next 30 years.
There is no way of getting to a net zero world without tackling what happens in cities, right? But when we think about solutions that will help decarbonize cities and the built environment, I think we need to take a holistic systems level approach. Because cities are, at the end of the day, a system of systems. There are many interrelated, interdependent systems.
And working with corporate partners like, for example, the CapitaLands of the world that are really putting not just their money, but their time, their effort, their resources behind helping startups to prove commercial cases. Being the first logo for a startup is tremendously important.
all 10 finalists won $50,000 to pilot their solutions across the different headline geographies.
And all of us are very, very impressed by the presentations today. Finding solutions for a sustainable world is hard. It takes time. It's not a question of just dealing with bits, you're dealing with atoms.
The most innovative award for the CSXC 2022 goes to Enexor Bioenergy and his representative, Robert Grajewski. Congratulations. The award goes to CleanAir.ai from Canada, Michael Pagrave. Congratulations to Sunman Energy.
Thank you very much. We're humbled and honored to be considered and to have won the award. There were so many great technologies you presented today.
I was not expecting this, but just wanted to thank, first off, the contestants. A lot of really cool technologies. We just know how much it means to be at things like this, so just thank you to the contestants.
Thanks for the opportunity and your choice.
Thank you so much for being a part of our event. We want to thank all our 67 international partners for making this event today a success.
Thank you, Vinrama, for your encouraging words, ladies and gentlemen. I hope the videos you just watched gave you a flavor of what to expect for CapitaLand Sustainability X Challenge 2023. So that was from 2022. To shed a little more light on the challenge mechanics, allow me now to call upon Mr. Ted Howland, Vice President, Group Sustainability, CapitaLand Investment. Ted will now elaborate more on the details of the CapitaLand Sustainability X Challenge. If you have questions for Ted, which I'm sure you will, put them into the Q&A box and we will address them after both the presentation and the subsequent live fireside chat. Now over to you, Ted. I see you have your webcam on. You may unmute your audio and share your screen when you're ready.
Great. Thank you very much. Thank you for the intro. Again, we anticipate you'll have a lot of questions, so please do put them into the Q&A. And we'll see what we can do to preemptively address as many of them as possible. So for today, again, for the CapitaLand Sustainability X Challenge, we're really focusing on making buildings more climate resilient and resource efficient. So our focus is very much on the built environment. The prizes include, we'll be piloting, testing, implementing innovations within CapitaLand's buildings, and we are spread across more than 260 cities in over 40 countries. And as a little bit of a sneak peek to the prizes, we've allocated over $1 million this year to cover the pilots of our finalists. For our challenge statements, we have 4 areas of focus, and we have 6 statements within those areas. So our challenge statements include under low carbon transition, how might we achieve on-site clean energy solutions for our buildings, significantly reducing the energy consumption in existing buildings, or reducing the embodied carbon within our new construction or during asset enhancement of our existing buildings. So in a nutshell, if you have an idea to make our buildings more energy efficient, to add more renewable energy to our buildings, or to reduce the embodied carbon of new buildings that are under construction, we want to hear about it. Under low carbon transition, we also have how might we retrofit existing buildings with retail tenants such that energy is reduced, carbon is reduced, life is supported everywhere, and the community is better off and the world better. In a nutshell, this one is saying that not only are we focusing on the landlord components of our buildings, we're focusing on the tenants as well. If you have something that will improve our tenant spaces, we want to hear about it because we have tenant partners this year, including DBS, as Vince mentioned, who are willing to basically let us all play within their spaces to try out new and exciting technologies. Under water conservation and resilience, we have how can we adopt new technologies to reduce water usage within our assets? Quite straightforward. If you have a way that we can reduce water, we want to hear about it. Under waste management and circular economy, we're looking for how might we better manage our waste and implement circular economy solutions. So we want to hear about how to improve recycling, how to reduce waste, how to turn waste into energy or waste into some other form of treasure. Under health, safety, and wellness in buildings, we have 2 challenge statements. One, how might we enhance the wellness of users in our existing buildings? especially with the COVID pandemic, there's a lot of focus on healthy buildings, making the buildings healthy. If you have ideas on how to make our buildings healthier, we want to hear about it. Our last challenge statement is how might we leverage technology to enhance occupational health and safety. So again, we also want to focus on the safety aspects of our buildings. This is a new difference from last year where we didn't explicitly call out safety. If you have an idea that can make our buildings safer, make our work safer, we really want to hear about it. So again, to recap, we have 4 areas, 6 statements, and the biggest changes are that this year we're incorporating our tenants. We have a big focus on on what we consider our scope 3 emissions. So our tenant emissions and our embodied carbon. And we're looking very carefully at safety as well. For timeline, we opened registrations on the 20th of March and registrations close on the 1st of June. So if you have registered and started your application, great. If you haven't registered yet, I would urge you to register as soon as you can and start the process. You can save the process as you go, so you don't have to do it all at once. And by just going through and seeing the various questions, it will give you a lot of insight as to what we're thinking, what we're looking for, how to better pitch your solution, how to tailor your solution. One of the parts of the application has a very large listing of our pain points. So that tells you exactly what areas are causing us distress that we want you to help us with. So after the registrations close in June, we start the shortlisting process. This will be several rounds of reviews, checking, scoring, grading, and filtering. Then we'll have selection in early June for 2023. And that will be the top, what we hope to be our top 10 that will then go into a mentorship program. So this mentorship program is also extremely valuable. And you can ask our finalists from last year about it during the panel session as well, because it allows the innovators to get a deep insight of how corporates work, how CapitaLand works, because we team them up with a mentor from CapitaLand to help them with their value proposition, help them tailor their offering to the industry. And then we also pair them up with industry mentors as well. So these are senior folks, people that know their stuff and are well established in the industry, who can give them also another lens, another set of eyes on how to best position their technology, what selling points to emphasize on their technology, what are the really unique selling points that other folks don't have. Then our demo day is currently scheduled for the end of October 2023. The date is not yet fixed, so just mark it as end of October right now. And again, this is going to be very neat, because it is with our partners BCA this year. It'll be hosted at BCA Academy at the new facilities there. So there'll be a lot of very good networking opportunities at this event as well. So we really look forward to you beginning your applications so that you can make it through this process and join us for demo day at the end of October. Well, so maybe you're asking, how do I register? You go to the URL here, or you just scan the QR code and it'll take you right there. It'll take you to Agorize's platform. Agorize is our event partner for this year. So they're running, their platform is aggregating, accepting, helping process the registrations and applications. And it's a very nice and nifty software platform. Again, you don't have to do the entire application at once. You can save, you can come back to it. So I really urge you to visit it as soon as you can and start the process as soon as you can, because it will take some amount of time. We're trying to find some of the most interesting innovations. So we do ask a few fairly pointed questions and need some information. So please take a look through it so you know what you need to put together. And even if you don't make it all the way through the selection process, I really do think it will be a very valuable process for you to help tailor your pitches. And if you don't make it through, we still hope to see you. We have other innovation channels as well. So here is the a bit of step-by-step. You go in with the first step, you create your account, confirm your email address, then you create your participation and select a challenge statement. So you're welcome to apply for more than one challenge statement or with more than one technology, but that would be a different application for each technology. So if your challenge statement say straddles 1, 2, or maybe even 3 technologies, that's fine. Pick the one you believe it is most relevant to We might adjust it a little bit on the back end. If we think it really fits even better in a different category, don't worry about it. Pick the one you feel the most, fill it in, go from there, complete your application, and then submit. So one of the other things you're probably asking about, what are the judging criteria? What do I need to focus on? Well, our judging criteria are impact and business value for Capital Land Group. So we want something that's impactful, and we want something for Capital Land Group. So things that will help us save energy in the built environment, save water in the built environment, make the built environment safer, reduce our embodied carbon, all of those. We also want something that's innovative and creative in meeting the challenge statements. So something where you have unique selling points, something that is new to the market, that hasn't been done before, or that gives you a unique competitive advantage or reason to use your technology versus, say, one of a dozen others. So emphasize the innovative piece and the creativity. It can be something existing that's put together in clever ways. The last is the potential to scale and deploy across different geographies and asset types. As Vince mentioned, we have assets all over the world. We have them in all sorts of geographies. We have Singapore, China, India, Australia, South Korea, Japan, Vietnam, United States, United Kingdom, Europe. We have assets all over. So if you have a technology that works great in Singapore, great. If you have one that works great in Singapore, India, and China, even better. And if it works Singapore, India, China, US, Europe, excellent. That would be more the gold standard. The more geographies and asset types your technology can be used in, the better. The other is technology readiness level. We're a very impatient group. We really want to implement your technology if it's proven to work and get it to scale up. We have rather harsh sustainability master plan targets breathing down our necks for 2030. We have a distance to go, and we want to go there as quickly as possible. So we want technology that can be implemented as rapidly as possible, which means that it's not still in theory in the lab. We want something that's ready to deploy, ready to go into our assets. Prizes, we already alluded to it a little bit. So the top 10 startups that we select from Demo Day, each of them will get 75,000 Singapore dollars to cover their pilot costs. So this is not a straight cash grant to the innovator to scale up their business, to expand their business, do business development. This is based on their pilot costs. It's $75,000 to cover the cost of piloting in our assets or in our tenants' units within our assets. Now, there are also special recognition awards. There's 4 of them. Each of those get an additional $75,000 for a grand total of $150,000. So at the end of Demo Day, with luck, if all 10 finalists make it through the judges at the end, there'll be 4 special award winners who will win $150,000 and 6 finalists that will win $75,000. So the special recognition awards are High Impact Award, Most Innovative Award, Most Scalable Award, and Enterprise Singapore Emerging Startup Award. The first 3 should be quite simple and straightforward. If you're very impactful, you're eligible for the Impact Award. If you have something that's very, very innovative, Most Innovative Award. Even if it's lower impact, lower on innovation, but it can be scaled through a large number of our assets, that's Most Scalable Award, because that'll still have an aggregate very large impact. So we're very interested. Enterprise Singapore's is the first time we've had a agency partner name an award, and it's for startups, so incorporated less than 10 years, that are either based in Singapore or are going to be opening an office in Singapore in the near term, and that have interesting technology. So now you might also be worrying about or thinking about, wait a second, I know how to pitch my technology, but then what do I do? How do I come up with a pilot? Well, of course, the more information you can put into the application, the better. If you have a very good idea of what asset type you want to do it in, what country you want to do it in, excellent. But even if you don't, our team will work with you to help select, we'll work with the finalists, I should say, we'll help work with the finalists to select an asset. We'll work with the asset team so that we can come up with a very solid scope, a solid timeline, solid costing, and we do quite a lot of the internal coordination that can be quite a headache if you're trying to do a pilot. So we work very, very closely with our finalists to ensure that they have the best shot to prove that their technology works. We will need, of course, your help to scope and cost the pilots. We'll be working with you. And I should also emphasize two other things about prizes, or I kind of think they fall under prizes in addition to the mentorship, which is that, as Vince mentioned, as part of this process, we don't take any of your IP. We're not grabbing a stake of it, so you can work with whoever you want to. Of course, if you're successful, we really want to work with you and scale up, but you're also welcome to work with anybody else. We don't restrict you from other people in the ecosystem, competitors. It doesn't matter. As long as it can have a positive impact, that's great. And we're willing to stand behind the results when those results are proven. So for some of our other finalists, when the pilots have completed, we're happy to share various levels of the data to confirm, yes, this is what happened, this worked. Again, to anybody as we need to. And we're of course happy to publicize success. You succeed, we succeed. We're very happy to share that as wide as we can through our own networks and through our events, including events such as this one. So if you are one of the finalists for CSXC 2023, you may well expect to be in panels for the next cycle or edition of CSXC, as Mo and Darren will be later. So with that, I think it's a great segue to move over to our live fireside chat with two of our CSXC 2022 finalists, Mr. Darren Cheng, the Chief Executive Officer of EcoFlow, and Dr. Mohammed Sharafathaman. And I apologize, Mo, if I scrambled your last name a bit. I'm not very good with names, I do apologize. He's the Chief Executive Officer and founder of HydroLeap. So without any further ado, let's kick this part of it off while the questions keep coming in and we prepare some answers for after this segment. So, okay, I can see you both. Would you like, Darren, would you like to do a very quick intro of yourself and your technology, followed by Mo?
Yep, sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Darren, the CEO of EcoFlow. So basically what we do here at EcoFlow is we provide sustainable water solutions for businesses to firstly increase their efficiency of water usage and also increase their accountability through monitoring systems.
All right, Dr. Mo, can you give us a quick update?
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, you pronounce it absolutely correct, so it's all right. So yeah, my name is Mo, and I'm the founder and CEO of HydroLeap. And HydroLeap, we are an innovative electrochemical company out of Singapore, and we provide innovative solutions that are chemical-free, and it provides water and energy, basically footprint saving for the companies.
Great. And now, I guess the easiest and first and most logical question would be, why did you join CSXC 2022? We'll start with Darren, then shift over to Mo, and then I'll switch it up for the next one.
I think for us, very straightforward is, it's CapitaLand. You guys have many properties across the board, across many countries. So I think the main aim was really to gain traction and scale with CapitaLand's extensive portfolio, but also from our perspective was to really gain exposure on what developers are looking out for when wanting to implement new solutions into our properties. I think it isn't very easy to step into the foot of developers as your clients because they have a lot of reservations with new technologies. But I think this was a very good springboard for us to really gain a foot into the door. Yeah.
Yeah, and probably comes to me, and probably for HydroLeap is we normally come across a lot of actually the industry challenges that some of them are relevant and some of them are irrelevant. So when we come across the CapitaLand Sustainability Challenge, so it resonated a lot, specifically around the water conservation and resilience. And that was basically primarily the reason for us to apply for that, basically to join that challenge. And also it's I think, as Darren already mentioned it, so as a startup you want to put your your efforts into something that it can grow bigger. So you don't want to go around and do a smaller pilot project, a smaller singular projects that it doesn't lead to something bigger. So for us, CapitaLand, I think pretty much everyone in today's event knows that how many asset class you have. So, and we do have some technology, which is we knew that it basically is great for developers such as CapitaLand. So we decided to join CapitaLand Challenge because we felt that if we do that with CapitaLand, firstly, we have an immense opportunity within CapitaLand, and as well as I think, as it was said earlier, this is the open market, right? So this provides an opportunity for us with the other developers at the global scale to scale our technology and solutions too. Yeah.
I like those answers. So we'll stick with you for a moment, Mo. What are some of the insights that you gained through the CSXC process, or at least the insights you'd like to share with the potential aspirants for this year?
Yeah, sure. I mean, probably at the introduction and the video was great. A lot of it was about the event itself or recognition day, but actually what I enjoyed quite a lot, not only myself, but also our team members were part of it. It was a process to get there. I mean, probably a lot of the new participants, they might not be aware of it, but actually when you get shortlisted, you get into the working with the one internal and one external parties of the CapitaLand, and that journey understanding of the what is really CapitaLand and what CapitaLand is really looking for, and how our solution can be basically solving that problems. That part actually I enjoyed quite a lot, and you'll find out the motivation behind both from the management as well as the operational kind of like, you know, like for example, we do provide the solutions for saving the water, conserving the water, but when during the process we get in touch with the operational and the asset, basically that asset managers and asset operators, that gives us a huge, immense, basically amount of experience and insight to us. I like that part of it quite a lot.
All right, over to you, Darren.
Yeah, but I think Dr. Mo covered quite a bit of the points I wanted to mention. But I think just to sum it up for us, I think apart from the process, which was very helpful for us to better understand what it takes to scale into these verticals, I think throughout the process, we also thoroughly understood the kind of challenges that are being faced by the built environment, and what we can do to help, and what companies can do to help. And throughout the process as well, we are constantly refining your product, you're refining your business model. And I think that is really some of the insights that we gained throughout this challenge.
All righty, in that case, I'll ask you the next question, Darren, so that you can each have equal chances to steal the points from each other. Let's see, what can you say about your pilot process so far with CapitaLand? Like any of the challenges, or maybe how the team helped you overcome some of them to either implement or get closer. Anything you'd like to share on that regard?
Yeah, I think on that, I think so far everything has gone very smoothly. I think the incubation and the account managers have been very helpful throughout the whole process. I think it's quite a long process from the start to the end, but I think throughout this process, you better understand how to kind of angle your product better. So from they helped us a lot from identifying a suitable property, to the coordination with the managers on site. I think as Ted mentioned before, they're committed throughout to really help you and ensure that your product and your claims are a success. I think I think that is the main takeaway. I think in terms of challenges, I think for all green sustainability startups, the main challenge is really proving whatever you are claiming. And I think this was one of the challenges that we faced, and I think many of the startups would face. But I think throughout, the account managers have helped us throughout this process, and this has made it easy to overcome. Yeah.
Yeah, for us is I know it's become all the praise all of the CapitaLand team, but actually thanks to basically the really great account managers, as Darren mentioned, and as well as the operation team. We took our time to understand actually what we are about to basically implement. Actually, for a Hydrolib case, it was a bit easier because we had some sort of the experience before that with the other industries. So yeah, I mean, gladly, thanks to the great operation and account managers that you guys had, has been very smooth. And actually, we are very happy that by the end of the next month, we're going to have the proper implementation at the Taisei data centers with you guys. Yeah.
So again, you don't have to take my word for it that we actually will help you with your pilots. We won't just say, great, you've won, see you next year. We actually will help you through the whole help you through the whole process, and some of the blood, sweat, and tears is going to be our blood, sweat, and tears. So it all kind of mingled at the end of the day. Okay, we've got about 5 more minutes, and we got for the fireside chat. I see a large number of questions coming in, so I'm going to skip a couple of my other questions and maybe pick, I think what the most valuable question the most important meaning question would be is, what advice would you give to the CSXE participants? What do you think is the most important to get them to the finalist stage for the CSXE 2023? And I think I'll go with Mo on this one.
Sure.
Swapping around.
Sure. Yeah. I won't call them much advice, but I will say the learning experience that we've had was, I really do recommend the applicants and applications to trust the process, because and I think you mentioned it while you were explaining, to do the much explanation on the solutions, because I'm aware that actually there's a lot of technical people sitting behind assessing the applications. So that's only beneficial to the startups and applicants, because sometimes when you put it very short in this online applications, it doesn't do the justice for you as a lot of effort. So I really do recommend to put as much as details and explain where those unique value propositions are coming in, because you're not just in a pool with 10 or 15 of the companies. I think, if I'm not wrong, last year was 350 applicants, right? So you got to make your case very strong. And yeah, I think that would be my biggest. I think probably a lot of people don't know it. Actually, we participated in a sustainability challenge the year before that, and we made that mistake. We put it very simple, and we never even got shortlisted. So, but next year we came back, we made the case very strong, and that's basically that became a success. Okay, that's just I think experience that we've went through. Yeah, I will leave the second advice or / opinion to Darren to not steal away.
Yeah, thanks, Dr. Moore. Yeah, I think just to quickly build on that, I think it's really not being afraid of change and being flexible. I think more on the process is really to enjoy it. I think even if you don't make it into the top 10, I think a lot can be learned throughout. And as you've seen from Dr. Mo's case, I think he came back the following year and he made it to the top 10. I think more on the more practical side of things, I think how we managed to get in, or at least what we think, is really having a deep understanding of the challenges, and also CapitaLand will provide you with the pointers on what your product, on how your deck should be. I think you should really try to follow those requirements closely, as I think it would greatly increase your chances of getting shortlisted the first, second, third round.
Yeah. And probably I can add one more thing too. Even at the early part of the discussion or conversation that you are having with the CapitaLand or any part of it, have already a plan what you're going to do with a pilot and what your pilot is going to do, or what your vision about how this pilot is going to turn out. If it's successful, what you're going to get out of that. So frankly speaking, I mean, for example, I can speak of Hydrolib, where Hydrolib is one singular pilot plan doesn't make a huge difference for Hydrolib, but what we are looking into doing potentially at a scale up with CapitaLand, it's what it really makes us excited. So I think having that both from a technical and also commercial kind of pilot plan for yourself, I think that will be very, very, very helpful along the process.
great points. I think you've given some great insight to our budding finalists and innovators. And I do really want to emphasize that we do work very closely with the finalists. We try to be very flexible, and we also try to give as much good advice as we can, whether it's useful for the pilot or just useful in general. And also, again, the maximum prize is about $150,000, but I think the real prize is the ability to pilot within a capital land asset, because this is coming from this is a major pilot. And so the results are distributed company-wide. If it is successful, then we're very motivated to scale up as wide as possible and as quickly as possible. So keep a focus on that as well. And with that, I think we can thank both Darren and Dr. Mo for sharing with us this afternoon. And I think we've got a fair number of questions that have come in. So let's see what we can do to address the questions. All right. All right, so the first one I see is what if we have applied for the patent and it's in process for IP? Okay, no problem. Just indicate in your submission that it's patent pending. You don't have to have a patent on your process to apply to CSXC. What we do require is that whatever intellectual property there is one you own it. You own it in full. So we don't want to deal with a middleman or something like that. We want to deal with whoever owns the innovation, because we want, again, if it's successful, we want to scale up as quickly as possible. We want to scale up as widely as possible. And that is a lot easier to do if you're dealing directly with the innovator. Alrighty, next question. Let's see, carbon tech is only that suited for malls, or carbon tech for industrial benefits will also be allowed in this competition? Okay, we have our asset typologies cover everything from lodging, retail, commercial, data center, light industry and logistics. So if it's so you wouldn't have to focus only on malls. But if it's, say, a technology that applies to steel foundries, we don't do heavy industry, at least not at this point in time. So we're looking for things that would cover our malls, our offices, our business parks, logistics assets, data centers, service residences, other lodging. So I hope that provides a little bit of clarity. For the next one I see, the technology level should be ready by the end of the pilot. All right, our target is technology readiness level 8, because as I said earlier, we're fairly impatient and we want to start piloting, testing, rolling out, and then scaling up as quickly as possible. If the idea is interesting enough, or specifically if it's around embodied carbon, we can be a bit more flexible on the technology readiness level, but we're really looking for things that can be applied now versus something that's still in lab scale or does not have a prototype yet. All right, for the next question, if we propose an energy saving technology to a hotel and Capital Land finds it makes more impact for office building, what will happen? Well, we will work with the innovator to determine which asset typology is most relevant for the implementation, and work with the innovator for the pilot, because we don't expect everyone to be an expert on Capital Land's asset classes or asset typologies. So so during the shortlisting process, we have subject matter experts from our various business units that will be reviewing the technology. And if they put their hands up and say, I want this, this technology in my asset, then even if it hasn't originally applied for that asset, we may well shift it over. So for example, the EcoFlow valve, quite a lot of business units stuck their hands up and said, we want that in our asset, whether it had been listed in the application or not. So we'll work through that. That's not a problem. For the next question, hello, if the solution is already implemented in various buildings, is it eligible for the challenge? Or must the solution be new and not in the market yet? All right, our main criteria is that it must not have been implemented in Capital Land before, and that it addresses the challenge statements. So if it has been implemented if it's been piloted once before, no problem. If it's been piloted 4 or 5 times before, also no problem, as long as it has not been trialed in a Capital Land asset and addresses one of our challenge statements. So I hope that addresses that one. Next one, Are you open to nature-based carbon offset technology? Alrighty, that is an interesting one. We are in our overall sustainability master plan, offsets are our last mile, our last resort. So we're not specifically looking for offsets. However, we are very much interested in technologies that could capture or reduce carbon. So if it is angled that way, it could be of interest. Next question. For intellectual property, we have our country license, but not international license yet. Is this allowable? Short answer, yes, no problem. Please apply. And as I also specified, we aren't taking any, we don't take any portion of the IP through this process. We're not trying to take a stake in it. We're not trying to steal part of it away. So it's perfectly safe. We're a real estate investment management company. We want to roll out your technology. We want you to grow your business. Next question. As startups tend to be lean and manpower is tight, what is a good number of manpower to commit to the challenge? That is also a very good question, as we do understand that manpower is quite tight for startups. So we do try to help as much as possible to reduce the burden. So we have various templates, various other tools to help them go through our processes as painlessly as possible. I'm not saying it's not painless, but we make it as painless as possible. We have had fairly small startups go in, like around 10 people or so, I believe offhand. But for the smaller ones, we also want to see how are you planning on scaling your technology up? What are your plans? What's your pathway? Because again, if it is successful, we want to roll it out as quickly as possible and to as great an extent as possible. I would like to apply with a colleague at another startup. Is that possible? Yes, yes, you can. Please do. That was a simple question. What else do we have? Let's see for other questions. Should we apply with our solution, or is it better to apply as a group of solutions? Okay, so I guess this could be interpreted two different ways. If you have multiple solutions, you can do an individual application for each solution, no problem. If you're on the fence trying to decide, does my solution work better for a mall or a commercial building? That's also no problem. You can mention that it's applicable to other solutions, and you can pick which one you feel it's most applicable for. When we're reviewing it, we will take a look at it with that lens in mind, or we might even be looking at it for other asset classes that you may not be familiar with. So don't worry about that. Just make your application as clear as possible, and we will help there. We've done it before, we'll do it again. All right, we have about 3 minutes left. How are we doing? I see one about savings target on HVAC optimization or general savings. All right, if you can give us something that saves us 10% on our HVAC, we're very interested. Please let us know. Other savings impacts in general? Well, that is an interesting question, and we are open to it as well. So for example, for our embodied carbon challenge statements, for our safety challenge statement, we anticipate it'll be a little bit more difficult to put a dollar value and say that you'll have an ROI of 2 years, 3 years, 4 years in that. So we are open to, we'll keep our minds open, and we will examine them on their merits and then what kind of impact we think it can have for us. Is CapitaLand interested in monitoring CO2 emissions or embodied carbon during construction phase? Short answer, yes. Longer answer, please do submit to the challenge, because we do consider development projects, we do consider refit projects, and as I said, we do want to focus on embodied carbon. So please do submit, whoever asks that question. Let's see, do we have any others we can address while we're here? Must the proposed solution be novel, or can it be something we've already deployed for other clients and properties? Short answer is please feel free to submit. We do not have to be the very first. We like being the first, But if you have if you have piloted it with others, that's perfectly fine. Or if you've implemented with others, as long as you have not trialed it in a capital land asset, then you're still eligible, no problem. Let's see. Okay, I see another question on working only with TRL level 8 applicants. Please explain. Okay, we have a description in the application process as a link, which will define what the different technology readiness levels are. So basically for TRL level 8, it could have had one pilot or 2 or 3 or 4 pilots elsewhere of different scales. And so that's kind of a sweet spot for us because we know it can be piloted fairly quickly. And as I said, we're impatient people because we want to try the technology, and if it works, we want to start using it yesterday. As I said earlier, especially for embodied carbon, we can be a bit more flexible, but we do need to see and have some assurance that it won't be a several-year runway, because as I said, we're impatient. We want to try things, and hopefully they'll succeed, and then we roll them out. All righty. What's the next question we've got? How large a scale-up did past winners get, i.e. all 260 capital land buildings? That is a very good question, but it's also a little bit tough to answer because the piloting for, say, 2022 solutions is still ongoing. In fact, some of the piloting for 2021 solutions is still ongoing. So for the ones that have completed, we're in the process of rolling out and ramping up. And I don't think we have yet seen a singular technology that can apply to all 260 assets. Actually, 260, that's the number of cities that we're in. We're in 260 cities. We have even more assets than that. But I will still say that we haven't seen a singular technology that can apply to 260 assets yet. If yours does, please apply. We're very eager to see it. And if it is something that is economic and has a good impact, then we will roll it out to 260 assets or more, and be more than happy to publicize it through our networks and advise our colleagues, friends, networks that this technology really works. These are the results. You should do it as well. We're not being particularly selfish in this challenge. Are you open to sustainability software platforms and tools? We are open to sustainability software platforms and tools. I think there's probably a little bit more of a bridge for them to demonstrate their direct savings, but we are still open to it, so please do apply. And now I see that we're just about at the end of the session today. So I just want to do a quick check in here. Are there more questions to address right now? Or shall we say thank you very much to folks and close the session? Yes, okay, great. Thank you so much to SGBC for organizing the seminar. Thank you so much to Darren and Dr. Mo for agreeing to be in the fireside chat. We hope the information that they gave was useful, and hope that also gives you a little bit more confidence that it's not just Capital Land saying, yes, we will work with you, yes, we will pilot with you, that you can take their thoughts and their sharing as proof that we will. We won't just throw you out there and say, go do a pilot and come back to us in 6 months. And now with that, and I also want to say a last thank you to some of our key partners, Enterprise Singapore, BCA, and DBS. We look forward to working this challenge with you. And now I'll shift back over to SGBC to close out the seminar.
Thank you, Pat, for taking our questions. We definitely benefited from the clarity provided in addressing the questions. We also thank everyone for your active participation and enthusiasm. We also like to take the time to also thank Dr. Mo and Darren for chiming in on your insights from the last year's experience. If you have further questions on the challenge, please feel free to reach out to the Capital Land team. Their details are on screen. You may also choose to send to SGBC your questions, and we will compile them and send them to the Capital Land team. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of today's info session. We hope that you managed to clear your doubts and gain more information on the Capital Land Sustainability X Challenge 2023. Before we end, I would like to share that SGBC is organizing the return of the International Green Building Conference IGBC on 26 to 27 June 2023 at the Raffles City Convention Center. IGBC 2023 will deliver 2 days of insightful presentations and panel discussions across key themes that include real estate decarbonization, unlocking green finance, low carbon materials, and the business transition for climate action. There will be tabletop exhibitions on site to showcase sustainable solutions from our partners. Find out more at www.igbc.sg and secure your tickets early. We hope to see you all at the event. And with that, I wish everyone a wonderful afternoon ahead. Thank you.